Hi there, I'm Chris Woods from DailySTEM, and today I'm going to show you a fun STEM activity you can do anywhere, home, school, wherever, and it's all about planting seeds. Now, you can plant seeds in a fancy seed tray like this, and it's great because it comes with a cover and you can place everything in the right spot, but you may not have those, and that's okay. One of the fun things you can do is recycle or repurpose different things that you have maybe around your home, like a takeout container. Now this one had chicken in it, and this cover is great because that's going to help keep the moisture and the warmth in to help those plants growing. You could also use some juice containers, anything like that. But my favorite is to use empty water bottles, clear plastic water bottles, or soda or drink containers. Now I'm going to show you why in a minute. I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. Some of the other materials and things you'll need. You need some dirt, either in a bag or just from your yard. You could use some tape. Tape is good, a ruler or a tape measure, some sort of permanent marker, scissors, and if you need help with scissors, ask an adult. Of course, some water so you can water things, but we gotta have some seeds. Now, a quick thing about seeds is a lot of seeds are hybrid seeds, and so when you plant them, like from a seed packet that you get at the store, it's going to produce a hybridized plant. Now, if you save the seeds from that and try to plant them again the next year, they're not going to be the same. So if you get hybrid seeds, that's what's going to happen. But if you get heirloom seeds, those are old varieties that have been just naturally crossed and bred, and they will continue to grow the same thing each year. So I get hybrid seeds, and then I can save the seeds, and they grow the same plant each year. I got some beans, I got peas. I'm going to actually plant some beans today, and I'll show you why it's better in a second to have some like light colored as opposed to dark colored seeds in a moment. You'll see. Now I'm going to take a water bottle, and there's a couple different ways you could do this. You could cut it so that you kind of cut across like that, or you could cut one where you go long ways like that. You might want to put the cap back on if you're going to do a long ways one. But the nice thing about water bottles, you can kind of flatten them. So I flatten it. I'm going to cut it about a little over halfway up. And now I've got that little pot there. Now what makes this pot so good? Hang on, we're going to find out. Now you could also use this. You can use it as a funnel for something. Some people even, you can reuse it like that. You could have the plant right here and put the water in the bottom. Experiment a little. That's part of the fun of STEM. I'm going to put some dirt in here. I'm going to fill it most of the way full. And again, you're going to want to water it afterwards. Okay, so I got most of the way full. And I'll also give you some other things you can do afterwards to keep learning more. Now, there's your pot. It's all ready for the seed, right? Now, if I put a seed in there, like right in the middle, I'm not going to know what's going on. But if I stick the seed in the side, remember, it's a clear water bottle. If I stick that seed down the side, however deep that seed needs to be, for most of them you just put them down maybe a ½ inch, quarter of an inch. If you're not sure, put a couple in and put them, but lotus, see right there? It's right on the side, you can see it. If you need to, you can even take your marker and you can circle it, or put some piece of tape right next to it, and you can put some measurements on it if you want to see how deep those roots are growing, because that's what's going to happen. After a couple of days, this seed is going to sprout, and you're going to see the roots start to grow down, and you're going to see the plant start to burst up. And you can actually put a couple different seeds in one of these pots. Of course, you want to give it some water right away. If you're not sure how much water to give it, guess what? That's part of science. Maybe do 2 of them and see which one you put more water in, one of them you put less water in. See what the difference is. Some other next steps, because now all you got to do is just kind of wait for it to grow, right? Here's some other things you can do. You can put one of them in dark, in a darker condition, and one of them in a more light spot in your home. You can see how that affects. Because remember, science is all about changing variables and seeing what happens. Like I said, you could water one more than another. You could also put one warm spot in your home versus a colder spot in your home, yet still getting the same amount of sunlight. Only try to change one thing at a time if you want to be a scientist. That's called changing a variable. Some other things you could do after this, you could, of course, like I said, you could cut some water bottles, make like a trough and do it that way. You could figure out a way to make sure this doesn't tip over, because especially as that plant starts growing, It's going to be tippy. Beans, I like beans for fun because they're quick, they sprout, and they grow up big and tall pretty quickly. But if they grow tall, you got to find some way to support them too. So think about what kind of things you have around your home that you could use to support that seed as it starts to grow. You could also take a picture each day. Grab your phone or a device and snap a picture from the same spot each day. And you can turn those into a stop motion film or a time lapse, and you can see that, and it looks like it's growing super fast. And how fun is that? You can also keep track of how much they grow each day. Write it on some paper, some graph paper. You can even graph it. You could also count how many, if you plant 10 of them, how fast does each one germinate? How many of them germinate? That means sprout. Some other things you can do. You could also take the seeds once they get big enough, and you can plant them outside. Maybe you can create a garden in your home, or even start thinking about composting and thinking about the different foods that you eat, like all the banana peels and the orange peels and the leftover bits of lettuce and things like that. But don't put meat in compost. You can learn more about compost on a lot of places on the internet. But most of all, find something to make learning enjoyable. Okay? And maybe keep experimenting. See if you can come up with a better way to plant these seeds. See if you can find the best way to get these seeds to grow. Now, this is just a start. Hopefully you have some fun. Hopefully you got some ideas now. And hopefully you have a great time growing maybe your next meal.